So Reservoir Dogs is just a low budget masterpiece. It's a prime example that even something with only $1.5 million put into it can still be more interesting than something with like $200 million put into it, you know. For me personally, this is one of my personal favourites of all time. If you're a film buff, you'd probably think the film's good and respect how it's Quentin Tarantino's first big proper film, you know. I mean, compare it to like Steven Spielberg's first film, which was just about a truck killing people. I'd much rather watch a captivating story than a truck killing people. But you know, Steven Spielberg's first film, but it makes this film even better because it's Quentin Tarantino's first ever film. It makes you think, wow, how did this guy pull it off? Especially with such a low budget as well. So, fair play to him. I mean, it's just legendary. So the story follows six guys: Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen, Quentin Tarantino, and some old geezer do a heist for Chris Penn and his dad in the story. So yeah, it's really really interesting. It's funny how the film you don't even see the heist in the film. It's a heist film. You don't even see the heist. That's how good the story is. It always leaves you wanting more because you think what would have actually happened on that heist. And in the first opening scene, when someone's being shot, you think, why is he being shot? What's going on? And then Steve Buscemi comes in and he's like, oh, we were set up, and you're thinking, what's he on about? What the heist was a setup? What? And then it makes you think, oh, who's the snake? And then they're arguing about who's the snake, and it gets you so interested. Another good thing about this film is that it's one of the first films ever, well, to my knowledge at least, it's one of the first films ever where the characters are actually just having casual dialogue, you know, and they're just talking to each other like regular people would talk rather than just having loads of dialogue to specifically enhance the story. They have casual conversations like at the start when they're talking about Madonna songs and the importance of tipping, and later on when they're talking about a woman who glued a boyfriend's balls to his leg or something, just crazy stuff like that, really. I know it sounds mental, but if you actually watch it, you'll get what I mean. It's just, refreshing in films to see something like this. It's also one of the first films, to my knowledge, to not have a linear story. This is hard to pull off, especially in some films, with editing it together. But in this, they pull it off perfectly. It goes from the introduction scene in the diner to Tim Roth bleeding out in the back of the car, and you're instantly hooked, like I say. You want to know everything that's happened because you haven't seen what's happened yet. You don't know why he's got shot. Also, the film is probably one of the easiest watches ever. I can't really explain it. It's just the story, the dialogue is near perfection. So you're just hooked into this just amazing, fun experience, really. Obviously, it's not just the story and the dialogue. The acting has something to do it as well. The characters pulling off the good body language and, making things interesting. They obviously had an amazing cast. Harvey Keitel was really behind this idea and put some money into it. And like I say, the cast play off each other really well. What I like about this film as well, especially in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of films where you didn't really know who the hero was. Everything was quite, this is the obvious protagonist, this is the obvious antagonist. But this, it's sort of like anti-heroes and bad guys in this. And for the day in 1992, this must have been really cool when it first came out because obviously the guys are bad. Mr. White, Harvey Keitel's character, he shoots cops for no reason. Well, so he doesn't go to jail. But, he shows real loyalty to Tim Roth's character, Mr. Orange, and thinks he couldn't have done this. He couldn't have been the snake. How dare you say he's a snake? I've put so much effort into helping him out and trying to look after him. Same with Michael Madsen's character. He goes to prison for 4 years and doesn't say a word. To protect his friend, Joe. That's his name in the story. I can't remember what the real actor's name is. But he protects his friend. And, that's real loyalty. That's real, just a true friend there. But he tortures a cop and executes a load of civilians because they set off the alarm in the bank. So, it's really hard to see the good and bad guys. And Tim Roth's character, Mr. Orange, he ends up being the snake. And you're annoyed, you're like, oh, he's getting Harvey Keitel put in prison, he's going to rat all these guys out, what a snake. But in reality, he's the good guy, he's putting criminals behind bars, So, yeah, it's really cool, to be honest. It's just one of those films that you can show to any of your friends, even if they're not bothered about films or interested in films at all. They will probably enjoy it. Or if you're having a drinking sesh, you wouldn't put something on like Once Upon a Time in America, Godfather Part 2, or the original Ben-Hur on. you know, if you're trying to just chill out and have a drinking session, you put this film on because it's absolutely brilliant. The film's just so much fun. It really showed everyone how to make a good independent film, and it received, you know, critical praise. If I had to say one little weakness though, it'd just be me nitpicking. It'd probably be Quentin Tarantino being there was slightly weird because he just didn't pull off the criminal type. Like the rest of them seem like, you know, real criminals who do this sort of stuff. But Quentin Tarantino's character didn't seem like the sort of person who'd do a bank heist. But still, no harm. At the end of the day, he had a lot of good witty banter in it, you know, so it doesn't matter. And he wasn't really in the film much. All I can say is that the film is a decent 4.5 out of 5 for me personally. I know it's not perfect, but like I say, just go and watch the film. You'll probably enjoy it. Not as much as I have enjoyed it, but you'll probably enjoy it. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I just want to say what I mean by a decent 4.5. It's like so I can differentiate between my ratings. So, say if I give something 3.5 and another film 3.5, people will be like, oh, it's the same. Well, the way to differentiate is like I'll say this is a solid or a great or a good or whatever 3.5, and this is a bit of a weaker 3.5, but I'd still give it 3.5 stars out of 5. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.